The cemetery lay quiet beneath the golden stretch of the dying sun, shadows lengthening across rows of weathered stones that told the stories of lives gone too soon. She stood there, her dark hair pulled loosely back, the brim of her worn hat casting a shadow over eyes red from holding back tears she had already shed too many times. Her hands, though steady, betrayed the tremble of a heart that had grown heavy with loss. The woman had buried brothers, a father, neighbors who once sang laughter across ranch fires, and even the man she once thought would protect her forever. Each grave was a scar carved deeper into her soul, and as she placed another flower against the cool stone, she whispered words she had sworn she would never say aloud to another soul again. "I've buried too many." Her voice cracked against the silence, a confession not of weakness but of exhaustion, of wounds layered upon wounds. That was when she felt his presence, solid, quiet, carrying the smell of leather, dust, and a promise that somehow seemed stronger than steel. He had walked up behind her without a sound, his boots respectful of the sacred ground they stood upon, his hat dipped low not to disturb her grief. The cowboy was tall, shoulders broad from years of work beneath unforgiving suns, and his eyes were carved from storms that had weathered their own tragedies. He didn't speak right away. He only stood there as if he knew words should wait for the right moment. Then, gently, in a voice as steady as the earth beneath them, he leaned close enough for only her to hear and whispered, "Then let me be the last you lose." The words struck deeper than any bullet could, shaking her guard, rattling the chains she had placed around her heart. She turned to face him, her lips parting, her eyes narrowed as if to measure the weight of his vow. She wanted to laugh, to scorn his promise as just another fragile oath men made when they thought they could fix broken hearts. But there was something different about the way he said it, not as if he were trying to save her, but as if he were staking his own life on a bond that could not be broken. Her memories swirled, of nights alone on the ranch porch, of gunfire in the distance when bandits claimed yet another soul, of the empty chair at her family table. Loss had become her constant companion, and yet standing here in front of him, she felt for the first time that maybe, just maybe, she didn't have to keep surrendering everyone she loved to the cruel march of fate. His hand reached out, rough with calluses, steady as the earth, not to pull her but to offer a choice. She looked down at it, then back into his eyes, and for a moment the weight of the graves around her faded beneath the quiet strength of his gaze. "You don't know what you're promising," she whispered back, the pain in her voice fighting with the flicker of something long buried, hope. He shook his head slowly, his jaw set, the brim of his hat shadowing his eyes but unable to hide the honesty in them. "I ain't promising forever," he said softly, "but I'm promising you as long as I'm breathing. You won't stand here alone again." Her chest tightened, her lips quivered, and though she wanted to fight him, to tell him the world always takes, always steals, her soul ached for the courage to believe. She thought of the graves, of the names etched into stone, of the blood that soaked the soil beneath their boots, and realized that what he offered wasn't immunity from pain, it was partnership through it. She blinked back the tears, nodding ever so slightly, because deep down she wanted to believe in something more than loss. The cowboy let his hand linger, and finally, slowly, she placed hers in his. It wasn't surrender. It was the beginning of something fragile, something brave. As the sun slipped low, painting the sky in shades of fire and gold, they stood together among the graves, not as broken souls mourning separately, but as two hearts daring to fight against the cruelty of the world side by side. And though the night would come, and with it storms and battles yet unknown, she knew she had just heard the most dangerous, most beautiful vow a man could ever make, that he would be the last she would lose. Dear friends, if this story touched your heart, if you believe in love that stands strong against the darkest nights, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, because more stories like this of resilience, love, and courage are waiting just for you.